Hello and welcome to Painting Panzers. My name is Christian and today we're going to be taking a look at another Ionic Smart Colours set by the team at Ammo. This particular set focuses on the World War II Germans, specifically the Heer, so no oak leaf or anything like that today, mainly Splinter and German Field Grey. Now this particular set is awesome, but we're going to get into all of that in just a moment. But I do want to quickly say this particular tutorial has been filmed on my new camera, so take a good look at the footage and let me know in the comment section if you've enjoyed the switch to the new camera. It's got a better lens, so I've been able to zoom in on some of the footage, which will better explain what I'm trying to tell you I'm doing, because you'll be actually visually be able to see it, which will be a nice change from my older footage. But yeah, enough of that. Let's get straight into this video. So I've already covered the British paint sets, and if you're unfamiliar with that, I did a video on that a couple of weeks ago. It's a lovely set. We covered a 20mm figure on there, an AB figure, and it came out great. So if you haven't seen that, please do check it out. I'll leave a link in the video description for that one. But if you're interested in any of these sets, you can find them at the Ammo website. Go to Ammo Paint, Ionic sets, scroll down about halfway and you'll see that they're on there. They're currently out of stock, but I'm sure they're going to be restocked soon. On there, they're going to cost you about €42. But a really good thing is you can see that they've got a PDF guide there, and that is from my friend Ruben at Heer Brush, and you can see he's got a really good guide there, a really good guide, so it's really worth noting if you're looking at this set. So as I said, this is the World War II German Heer uniforms and splitter muster camouflage set in collaboration with Ruben. Now this is the Ionic Smart Colours set, the German set. We've looked at the British one already, and in this set you get 12 paints, and within those 12 paints you've got paints that are going to cover the Splinter uniform, German uniform, and then various parts of the webbing, and as you can see on the back there's lots of cool information. We're going to speed it up a little bit because I want to get straight into painting, but as you can see you've got the 12 paints here, a variety of different greens. I believe this Admiral Grey is going to be more for the uniform. You can see there's a ball bearing in there. I love a good paint with a ball bearing in there. Massive fan of these paint pots as well. I've been using them now for a short while, and they haven't blocked or got messy, unlike my new Vallejo paints. So that is a big bonus. They've done really well with these. So I'm trying to work out what colour is going to work best for the Splinter Camo scheme. So I started with Tombstone Yellow, and then I think I'm going to go with Dark Ochre, and I'm going to mix them together. Now I didn't copy Ruben's guide. I didn't actually follow it at all when I did mine. I just wanted to go independent, but I do believe Ruben had the same sort of thought process as me, which is really good. At least I can say that I'm somewhat on the same sort of same scheme as Ruben, which is a really good thing to say because he's such a fantastic painter. Anyway, that's enough of me bigging myself up. You can see that the color scheme is actually really nice. It goes really well with that Splinter Camo look. It's a little bit dark, but that's okay. Splinter Camo, the base color, did come in a variety of colors. Now I did try painting the trousers in just Admiral Grey, but I wasn't a big fan of it, so we're going to skip this part and we'll move back to it in a short while. Now, keeping that same colour of the Tombstone Yellow and the Dark Ochre at a 1:1 ratio, which is what I've shown you just previously, we're going to paint the helmet in that colour too. So, for the brown Splinter pattern, we're going to be using the brown RAL 8017. I'm not going to try and pronounce that German word for it. I'm sure some of you will be able to help me in there. Now you can see on here, I'm going to be creating a mixture of really sharp lines, and they can intersect with each other. You can make squares within them and such. Just give them nice straight lines. The pattern is very straight, like a spider web, but really straight, like a redback spider. If you're familiar with that, that's the Australian spider, at least anyway. So lizard green and olive green, or olive grun, are two different greens that are in the set. I think for me, I'm going to be using the lizard green. It's a little bit darker, and I think that's going to work a little bit better for the Splinter scheme that I'm going for. They're already quite dark colours with the base coat and the brown, so I think a darker green is going to work great for it. So we're going to be using that lizard green. I will say that the paints have only been in one coat. I do like painting in one coat, so these paints are great. They're not too thinned down where you're having to put like a million coats on. They're really good that way. I only have to put the one coat down, and there's enough consistency there that it's going to cover well. And now I'm going to paint the boots black, and it's really just as simple as that. It's a nice black covering, and then we can move on to the next paint. So the wood on the FG42 I'm going to paint with brown, and the brown has got a bit of an orange hint to it, which is awesome. I do like that sort of brown colour because it gives a nice new wood look to the wooden area that we're painting. And then for the metal area of that FG42, I'm going to be using black and vanilla. And I'm going to be painting it like 3 parts black to 1 part vanilla, just to give it like a dark grey colour, opposed to just being straight up black. Now again, like the trousers, I experimented with black brown for the webbing, and it's got a bit of a purple hue to it, so I didn't like it, and I'll come back to it in a short while once it's dry. So black ochre is what I'm going to be using for his bread bag. As you can tell, it's almost like an English uniform looking colour, so it might work really well for your English or your British soldiers as well. I'm going to be using that colour as well on the water bottle, as well as his chin strap on his helmet. So that black brown that we used for the webbing that I disliked, I think is a really good colour for any sort of dark leather case, so I'm going to be using that for this little case he's got here. And then I'm going to use that olive grun RAL 6003 for his mess tin. Also, that strap that goes over the mess tin, paint that the same colour as the webbing. I've painted that green, but I'll try and fix that up before the video is released. So cold black is what I'm going to come back with to paint the webbing. So you can see I'm going over that black brown. I'm going to paint it black. It's more historically accurate too. And then once it's dry, I'm going to give it a black wash. But overall, I think it looks great already. It's a little bit messy on my part, but when you put a black wash over it, it's going to fix up a lot of those little tiny areas you've made. The black wash is going to cover it. So if you're looking at your model before you put the wash on and thinking it looks terrible, don't stress. We're going to fix it up. Now I have moved on a little bit. I've painted some stuff, and I'm going to now paint the rest of it so you can see how I do it. And I'm going to move to my size 1 Ionic brush for this one, and I'm going to go back over that splinter base color with that tombstone yellow and dark ochre at that 1:1 ratio. And now you can see that I'm just scratching in those details again. Now this brush set from Ammo is really nice. The brushes are great, so I'd recommend grabbing yourself some if you want them. Now with that brown, I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of tombstone yellow to it, just to lighten it ever so much, sorry. And then I'm going to go and just go over those really sharp patterns. And it's a really good opportunity as well to fix up any area on that Splinter Camo scheme of that brown sharp bit. Just if it's got a bit of a curve to it, fix it up, make it look nice and sharp. And then do exactly the same with the lizard grey. So you want to do 3 parts lizard grey to 1 part tombstone yellow, and just lighten it ever so just by a little bit, and then you can see there that it's just slightly lighter, and you can leave the original base colour on the outer edge. Now with your olive grun, get a little bit of black and keep mixing it in until you've got a nice dark green like that. So that olive grun and black, probably about 1 part olive grun to 2 parts black, and just paint little rain marks. Now I used Ruben's work on this for inspiration. He just paints 3 little vertical lines on each area of the uniform, and just 3 little lines. I don't really do it over the camo pattern, just doing it on the actual vacant spaces on the tombstone yellow. Now using the same brown, I'm using the exact same brown I used on the jacket for the helmet, just like dry brushing it in, taking most of the paint off the brush, then doing the same with the green, just to give a nice camoed looking helmet that's been brushed together. He just sort of brushed it on himself. And then with that same colour for the splinter base colour, I'm just going over the brim of the helmet there. as well as using that same colour for the FG42 strap. So with that strap first layer done, we can go over it with a highlight of tombstone yellow, dark ochre, and vanilla at a 1:1:1 ratio. So we're just using the same colour that we used for the splinter skin, just adding in a little bit of vanilla to it, and using that to highlight this particular strap. You could have already also done the same thing with the bread bag if you wanted to go with that, if you want to make it a bit lighter opposed to using this dark ochre, but I decided to go with dark ochre for this one. So I'm just repainting over it in the first layer, and then now I'm giving it a second layer. I won't use the word highlight because I pretty much repaint the whole thing again, just leaving the original base color in the recesses and that first layer just on some of those flatter surfaces. And then give the water bottle a bit of attention. You can already see this model's coming together. I'm loving this model. I think he's come out so great. I'm also going over the straps there on his helmet. So with that olive grun, we're going to go over that mess tin. You can see we're just repainting it, just leaving the original base colour in the recesses. And now we're giving it another layer of olive grun and tombstone yellow at that 1:1 ratio. And I'm just going to repaint pretty much the whole thing again, but obviously leaving some original base color in the recesses, and then some of that first layer just a bit further out. So black, brown and brown at a 1:1 ratio is what I'm going to be using for this leather case, and you can see that gives it a really nice looking worn leather look. I really love this actual leather case. I think it's come out perfectly. So now we're moving on to just the brown. So this is going to be painting the wooden areas of this FG42, and obviously other wooden areas you might have, but in this case it's just for the FG42. And then we go brown and vanilla at a 2:1 ratio, and you can see here perfectly well that I'm just scratching in nice little lines. It's going to simulate those wood grains, not putting on too much. I'm not covering the whole area of that wooden panel in that colour, just scratching it in nicely and just taking my time. And then lastly, I'm going to do exactly the same, but reduce it to a 1:1 ratio and just scratch it in, and it's really just going to make that wooden panel pop. So I did say I'm going to fix up the trousers, and I did so by using Admiral Grey and Olive Grun at a 1:1 ratio, and that gives us a nice greener looking trouser, whereas just the grey and a highlight, the Admiral Grey and the highlight sort of gave it a bit more of a blue look, which I wasn't too happy with, so it was a fault on my own part. So for the medal, we're going back over it with black and vanilla at a 3:1 ratio, and just going to be picking out all those details. This FG42 is just such a cool gun. And then I'm using that same colour to go over the webbing as well, and any other metal item. So then for the next layer, we're going to use black and vanilla at a 2:1 ratio, and pretty much repeat the process, but not going too hard. So you can see here I'm just adding in a few little lines on each part of the webbing. And then finally, we're going to do black and vanilla at a 1:1 ratio, and this is where it comes out quite light. So you just want to use this very minutely, just paint those raised areas just with a little line, and don't go too crazy. And then just paint the buttons on his jacket in vanilla, so just a little dot on each button, make those stand out quite nicely. And then for the flesh, I'm going to be using dwarf skin, and then I'm going to be giving it, once it's dry, a flesh wash over the top of it. This dwarf skin is part of the Ionic World War II British paint set, so they obviously go together really nicely. This German set doesn't have any flesh paint in it. So dwarf skin and elf skin at a 3:1 ratio is what I'm going to be using once it's dry. You can see I'm picking out the top of the nose, the cheeks, the chin. I'm going to join them all together, and the top of the eyebrows as well. And then once that's dry, I'm going to use dwarf skin and elf skin at a 2:1 ratio. So we're just going to keep lightening it up. So now I'm not connecting the cheeks and the chin. I'm just putting a few little lines where the brows would be, the nose, underneath the eye sockets, and the chin there. And then repeating that same process, I'm going to paint the nose, a little line on the nose, a little line on top of the eyebrows there, and the chin, and then underneath the eye sockets. We can see that I've done a lesser amount than what I did previously. So to finish off, we're going to finish the trousers. So we're going to use that Admiral Grey and Olive Grunt at a 1:1 ratio, and we're just putting in another layer. You can see I'm pretty much repainting all those trousers again, but that green, it just looks so much better than what I had on there previously. And then to give that trouser a second layer, I'm going to use the same colours as what we did before, but added one part of Tombstone Yellow to it, just to lighten it such and give it a nice sort of German field grey colour for this final layer. And then your Fallschirmjäger figure should look something similar to this, and by God am I happy with how he's turned out. So overall, very, very happy with the Ionic series of paints. It's the second video. We've got a third to come. So this series just keeps growing, and I'm really, really grateful to the team at Ammo for sending me these out. I really am loving them, and I think this Fallschirmjäger figure came out really great. I did have a few little issues, obviously, with selecting the incorrect paints, but as I said, I wasn't using any guide for this one. I probably should have been, but I wasn't using any guide. I was just going off what I thought would look good, and then I had to amend it as we went. But I thought I'd keep that in there. I really wanted to show you that no one's perfect. Sometimes you can make a few cock-ups, or you know, not do the right thing, or it might not look the way you think it's going to look, but don't fret, just keep at it and try and fix it up if you can do. Now, as always, I must say a massive thank you to my Patreons and YouTube channel members. You guys are awesome. Special mention to those Panzer Races. So that's Patrick, Oscar, James, Panzer Jim, Colin, Lack of Foresight Gaming, Mike, Mikey, Eric, Rothgar, Jonathan and Ian. You guys are all champions. I really do appreciate all of the support you guys have given me. Now, before I go, as I said at the start of the video, this is a new camera that this particular film has been filmed on. It's going to be a mixture of old footage and new footage in the foreseeable until I can get rid of all of my old footage and then move straight to my new camera. But do let me know in the comment section if you've enjoyed this new switch to the new camera, and if you've enjoyed this new footage. I think it looks so much better than what I had before, but perhaps you might disagree. So do let me know in the comment section. But until then, I'm going to leave it here, and I will catch you at the next one.